Hello everyone. This is Dr. Pritpal Singh Matreja, an MBBS MD from CMC Ludhiana, and it has been a long while since I started the. I had a presentation on research processes, and today I am going to discuss about methodology, and I have my own ways and my own methods to go ahead how we can proceed ahead with the methodology section of a research paper. I hope by the end of this presentation, I would be able to clarify some of the doubts that are there. And if there is any doubt that still persists, you could always put up a query in my chat box and I would definitely get back to you. So what I thought today would be doing is I would be discussing about the methodology aspect, and I hope I'm able to clarify most of the doubts that are there regarding this methodology process. So before I start with the methodology, there are few things that I would like to go ahead because we want an basic introduction first. So my learning objectives for this particular session would be that by the end of this session, you would be able to get an insight of the type of study design, and you could you could interpret a study design for your research paper. That is what is the purpose of this particular presentation. So I start with my introduction that was there with the research process. Now, this research process that I had already discussed earlier is that it is a series of steps or actions that are necessary to effectively carry out research, and we tend to find the answer to the hypothesis or research question which is central to the research. Now when we are talking about a research question, this research question should be finer, it should be feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. And this research, another way of interpreting the research question could be with the help of a PICO format, where PICO format means population, intervention, comparison group, and outcome of interest. And sometimes T is added to this. T means timing, which can also be added to this particular group. Now, there's a particular example that I have set up out here, and this I have been repeating it in my previous presentations also, that for a patients of more than or equal to 65 years of age, this is the population that we are targeting on, does the use of influenza vaccine, this is an intervention, as compared to non-vaccinated population, which is the control or the comparator group, influence the risk of developing pneumonia, which is the outcome. And we have added T, which means during the flu season. Now, this is the hourglass model that we were talking about. We have been talking about this hourglass model repeatedly, and that is what I'll be talking about. This hourglass model, we start from a broader perspective, narrow down to the in the methodology and results, and then we broaden up again in the discussion. So the other model that we tend to follow is the MRAD model, which means introduction, methodology, results, and discussion. Now, whenever we tend to write the methodology section, which is often labeled as material and methods, we can divide the this section into various subheadings. One of these subheadings would be the study design, the other could be the study population, the third criteria could be the selection criteria, which includes the inclusion and exclusion criteria, then the procedures that you would like to follow in this particular uh, research paper, the parameters that you would like to assess, and statistical analysis. My focus today would be on the study design. And what I'll be doing is I'll be sharing some of the papers that have been published recently in well-reputed worldwide journals such as the New England Journal of Medicine and the Lancet, and we would be looking at the study designs that I could get from them, and we would then discuss about these studies designs in that perspective. So we had even talked about this. Now, this is a biomedical research where we have two subdivisions of the studies. One is observational, the second one is experimental. Now, in the observation, it could be a simple observational study where you tend to find out the prevalence or incidence. Uh, this could be a case report, a case series, or it could be longitudinal study, or maybe the cross-sectional study. And when we have a comparator group, then it tends to be either a case control study, which is retrospective in nature, or a cohort study, which is forward in nature. And when this particular study comparator group has an intervention with it, this could be an experimental study. This intervention could be prophylactic, it could be therapeutic, or it could be intervention. And we tend to follow certain ethical principles, and these ethical principles could be sequential or non-sequential. Now, but when I was looking into these journals, I was looking into these study designs. Most of the studies that were published as original research were mainly clinical trials or randomized controlled clinical trials or experimental design, but that by no means that case control studies are not published. I will be giving you one of the recent issues of NEJM. We have a case control study that is also published. So now let us look at these various studies that are there. Now this is one study because we are looking at this particular time. We have a pandemic that is going on, and the situations are somewhat in control in certain countries and out of control in certain other countries. So most of the studies that are published at this particular moment tend to focus on the novel coronavirus. And this is one study that was published in NEJM. And this study is about the efficacy and safety of the mRNA 1273 SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. Now, I looked into the abstract, and in the methodology section, this particular point is highlighted out here. This is a phase 3 randomized, observer blinded, placebo controlled study, which was conducted in 99 centers in US and maybe some other areas, nearby areas. So I tried to go into the details of this particular journal, and I'm simply focusing on the study design. So this is a phase 3 study, a phase 3 randomized study. So randomizes that you have two groups, and these two groups are randomized. So, and the randomization process that is followed is a stratified randoming. You divide the groups into various stratas, and then you tend to select people. Observer blinded, that means the observer is not aware, and it is a placebo controlled trial. So this is an experimental study design where we have an intervention that is taken into consideration, and the other group is without the intervention or the control group. So it forms a randomized control trial. So the two essential criteria being fulfilled out here are randomization and an intervention. So basically, when I was going through this particular study, I found that even randomization is one particular area where we can have a lot of randomization. There are various uh, methods of randomization, such as stratified, as mentioned in this. The next study would mention cluster randomization, and then there is a simple randomization, and so on. So what we'll be doing is, I'll not cover randomization out here, but maybe in one of my other presentations, I would go ahead with what randomization means. Now, the other study that was published out here, now this is mentioned out here only. This is another study that is published in the recent edition of the New England Journal of Medicine. And this says that it is a cluster randomized trial of hydroxychloroquine for prevention of COVID-19. So the randomization that is being followed out here is cluster randomization, and it is an open label study. Now, what I'm going to do out here is I looked into the details of this particular study, and we found that this is an open label phase 3. Again, it is before the marketing of a particular drug. It is an open label. That means everyone is aware about what the intervention is being given to them, and the randomization technique that has been taken into consideration out here is the cluster randomization. You make various clusters, and from that clusters you tend to select patients. So this is one of the study. Then I was talking about another study which I said that we could get a case control study. By no means, if most of the journals tend to publish a randomized control trial, that does not mean that a case control or a cohort study cannot be published. And this is again one of the recent editions of this particular journal, the New England Journal of Medicine. And this is a population based study which is a case control study, where they are looking into genes that have been previously implicated in breast cancer. So this is, as per the abstract, it shows that it's a population-based case control study. So we have a group, we define the group of patients, the group of people who would form the case, and a group of people who would form the control. And because it is a case control study, we would tend to go, it would be retrospective in nature. Although it has its own limitations, but by no means that should hamper us from conducting a case control study. Then I searched the Lancet, and this is the recent edition of Lancet, again the original research papers. Now out here I could find studies, but most of the studies that have been done out here are experimental studies, so we'll tend to focus on them. The design is already mentioned out here. Now this is bimekizumab efficacy and safety in moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, and the trial has been labeled as Be Ready. So this is a multi-center, double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized study. So multi-center means that there are multiple centers that are conducting the study simultaneously at the same particular point of time. Double-blind means that neither the patient nor the physician is aware of what who will be receiving the study drug and who would be receiving the placebo. And one of the arms that would be there would be the placebo arms, where you would not give any active drug. So Be Ready. Now going into the abstract of this, this was a phase 3 multi-center randomized, although I could not get what was the randomization process out here. But yes, when I looked into the details, it was stratified. So we have what we are following out here is the stratified randomization for this particular study. Another study that is published in Lancet is bimekizumab versus ustekinumab for the treatment of moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. This is as Be Vivid, and this tends to monitor the efficacy and safety from a 52-week multi-center double-blind active comparator and placebo-controlled phase 3 trial. So now we have two more terms coming in, and we'll talk about these terms. So multi-center, that means that many centers are conducting this particular study simultaneously. It is randomized, and it is a double blind. That means we have neither the patient nor the investigator knows which drug is being active comparator and a placebo control. That means we are giving an active drug also in these patients, as compared to the previous study where we were only giving bimekizumab. Out here we are giving bimekizumab versus ustekinumab. Another study in the original research in Lancet was posaconazole versus voriconazole for primary treatment of invasive aspergillosis, a phase 3 randomized controlled non-inferiority trial. So again, now I'll focus only on the study design, and if I go into the details, this is randomized, prospective, double-blind, double dummy controlled trial. So randomized, obviously we know about it that there is some particular randomization that has been done, and this randomization, if it has been mentioned with stratification, that is what it is mentioned out here. Prospective, enrolling patients and giving the drug. Double blind, neither the investigator nor the observer knows it. Double dummy. Now double dummy is basically taken into consideration when we have two drug preparations that have different size or shape, or maybe that are given by the different routes. So what is done in this particular situation is we have one active drug, maybe a tablet, and we have a matching tablet as a placebo, and maybe if out here it is an injection, so a matching placebo injection. So that means both the groups, one group would receive the active drug in the form of tablet plus a placebo injection. The other group will receive the active drug in the form of injection plus the placebo tablet. So that is double dummy. You have different forms of preparation. Because of these two different form of preparations, you need to give two different identical matching placebos, so that blinding can be taken into consideration. So we have a lot of terms that have been come out here. We have prospective, we have randomization. This randomization could be stratified, or maybe it could be cluster randomization or simple randomization. So these randomizations I would be covering up in one of the in coming few weeks. And we have a double blind, which I've already told you that neither the observer nor the patient knows it. It could be an open label where everything is open. It could be observer blind where the observer who is evaluating does not know it. It could be a placebo controlled. It could be active comparator. It could be a double dummy, and so on. So these are certain factors, that certain issues or certain terms that are used for designing an experimental study. A case control study, you simply mention the case control study, whether it is a population based study or hospital based study or whatever it is. Similarly, in the cohort study, you could go ahead with that, or it could be a cross sectional survey, or maybe a longitudinal survey, which we discussed in one of our previous types of research processes 1 and 2. So to conclude, we for every research, a good research, you should have, we have already been talking about the research purpose, and one of the things that is quite effective or quite useful for a research purpose is you should have a good study design. This study design should be visualized, and it should be, you should be able to interpret this particular study design to all the people around. Now this was the purpose of this particular presentation, was only to talk about study design, and I tried to cover up or to highlight these study designs based on few articles that were research articles that were published in some reputed journals. I hope I am able to clear some of the queries or doubts that are there. And if there is any query that is there, that you feel is there, you could get back to me, and I would be happy to revert back to you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have had a good learning experience.